You get paid. For about 7 minutes, you feel rich. Then rent hits, groceries hit, subscriptions you forgot about hit, and suddenly your bank account looks like it lost a bar fight. Here's the problem. Most people don't fail budgeting because they're irresponsible. They fail because they never learned how to split their paycheck correctly. Too much spending? Savings dies. Too much saving? You quit the system. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact percentage formula behind the 5-account money system. How much goes to bills? How much goes to spending? How much goes to emergency savings? How much goes to wealth? And yes, how much goes to fun? No guessing, no complicated spreadsheets, just a system that runs quietly in the background. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where every dollar of your paycheck should go. But first, let me show you why most people split their paycheck completely wrong.
Let me ask you something. When your paycheck hits your account, what do you do first? Most people say, I check my balance. But that's actually the first mistake, because your paycheck isn't one pile of money. It's 5 different jobs pretending to be one number. Bills, groceries, savings, investments, fun. But when they sit in the same account, your brain does something dangerous. It treats all of it as spendable. Let's say you make $4,000 a month. You open your banking app. You see $4,000. Your brain says, wow, we're doing great. But reality says something very different. Rent, $1,500. Utilities, $250. Insurance, $200. Groceries, $500. Transportation, $300. Suddenly, your $4,000 paycheck is actually $1,250. But your brain didn't know that because the money wasn't separated. And that's why budgeting feels exhausting. Every purchase becomes a math problem. Can I afford this? Will this mess up rent? Do I need to wait? Eventually, your brain gets tired, and tired brains make terrible financial decisions, which explains a lot about late-night Amazon purchases. Now here's the tension. If one bank account creates chaos, and budgeting apps don't fix it, how do you split your paycheck correctly? This is where the 5-account percentage system comes in. But before we split the paycheck, you need to understand the first 2 accounts that control your entire financial life.
Let's start with the biggest piece of your paycheck, bills. Because whether we like it or not, adult life comes with monthly subscription fees to existence. Rent, utilities, insurance, phone, internet, minimum debt payments. These are non-negotiable expenses, which means they need their own percentage. For most people, the healthy target is 50–60% of your income for bills. So if you earn $4,000 per month, the math looks like this. Bills account, $2,200, 55%. This covers rent or mortgage, utilities, insurance, phone, internet, debt minimums, subscriptions. Now here's the important rule. Bills money never mixes with spending money. Why? Because if it does, your rent money starts looking suspiciously like concert ticket money, and rent usually loses that argument. So the moment your paycheck arrives, 55% automatically transfers into your bills account. Done. No thinking required. Now let's talk about the second account, the one that usually causes the most problems. Spending. Groceries, gas, eating out, clothes, random Target trips where you somehow leave with $173 of things you never planned to buy. This account gets 20–25% of your income. So again, with a $4,000 paycheck, spending account, $900, 22%. This is your day-to-day lifestyle money. Here's the rule. When this account hits 0, spending stops. No debates, no transfers, no I'll borrow from savings, just reality. And surprisingly, that's what makes the system work, because humans respect hard limits, but they ignore soft rules. Now here's the tension. Bills are covered. Spending is controlled. But what about the thing most people never prioritize? Saving for unexpected disasters. Let's fix that next.
Life has a funny way of delivering surprise invoices. Your car breaks. Your pet eats something illegal. Your boss announces company restructuring. Suddenly, money becomes very important. And here's the scary statistic. Most people can't cover a $1,000 emergency. Not because they don't earn money, but because they never built a buffer. That's why the third account exists, emergency fund. This account gets 10–15% of your paycheck. Let's keep using our $4,000 example. Emergency account, $500, 12.5%. This money builds a safety net until you reach 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And this is critical because emergencies don't destroy finances. Lack of preparation does. When something breaks, you don't panic. You don't swipe a credit card. You simply transfer money from the emergency account. Problem solved. But here's the tension most people run into. They start saving, then something shiny appears. Vacation, new gadgets, limited time sale. And suddenly their emergency fund becomes a shopping fund, which completely defeats the purpose. That's why we need the fourth account, the one responsible for future wealth. And this is where the real financial transformation begins.
Let's talk about the account that quietly changes your entire life. Investing. Because here's a secret most people discover too late. Saving money protects your life. Investing money changes your life. This is where your wealth account comes in. This account gets 10 to 15% of your paycheck. Using our $4,000 example again, wealth account, $400, 10%. This money goes toward retirement accounts, index funds, brokerage investments, long-term assets. And here's the most important rule of the system. You never spend this money. Ever. Not for vacations, not for emergencies, not for Christmas gifts. Because wealth works through something magical called compound growth, which means money starts growing money. For example, invest $400 a month for 30 years at average market returns, and you're looking at roughly $800,000 to $1 million. Not from winning the lottery, not from starting a tech company, just from consistent investing, which is both boring and incredibly powerful. But now we've hit an interesting problem. Bills, spending, emergency savings, investing. We've allocated almost everything. But if we leave the system here, people usually quit. Why? Because life becomes all discipline and no enjoyment, which leads to something dangerous, revenge spending. So the final account exists for one reason, and it might be the most important account in the entire system.
Yes, your financial system needs fun. Because humans aren't robots. We like vacations, nice dinners, concerts, random purchases that make life interesting. The mistake people make is trying to eliminate fun spending entirely, which works for about 3 weeks. Then the brain rebels, and suddenly someone who planned to save $500 spends $1,200 in one weekend. So instead of pretending fun doesn't exist, we budget for it. That's the fifth account, fun/lifestyle account. This gets about 5 to 10% of your income. So with our $4,000 paycheck, fun account, $200, 5%, and here's the magic. This money is guilt-free. Spend it, enjoy it, blow it on tacos and concert tickets. Because the important thing is, your bills are covered, your emergency fund is growing, your investments are building wealth, which means fun is actually affordable. Now let's zoom out and look at the full formula. Bills, 50 to 60%, spending, 20 to 25%, emergency savings, 10 to 15%, wealth investing, 10 to 15%, fun, 5 to 10%. 5 accounts, 5 jobs, 0 confusion. And once these transfers become automatic, your finances start running quietly in the background. No stress, no guessing, no constant budgeting, just structure. But here's the final tension. Most people watching this video won't implement the system, not because it's complicated, but because change requires one uncomfortable step: opening the accounts, setting the transfers, letting the system run. So here's your challenge. This week, open one new account, just one. Start separating your money. Because in the next video, I'm going to show you something even more powerful: how to fully automate your entire financial life in 10 minutes. Paychecks, transfers, savings, investments, everything running automatically, so you never have to think about budgeting again. Subscribe if you want your money working quietly in the background, instead of disappearing every month. Because once your paycheck has structure, financial chaos disappears. And peace with money? That's where real freedom begins. See you in the next video.